In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I bear witness that Allah is one. It's one thing that a person can never take from you, and that's you. When you stand on what's right, it doesn't matter if 100 people was going the wrong way. You still stand on what's right. Because what really gives you true power is when you can rise above your environment of temptation, acceptance, belonging to. When you're able to rise above that environment and still do what God wants you to do, that's what gives you your true power. Facts. You know, the more I study the Word of God, the more I get depressed. And I'm only speaking from my personal experience of my journey, not nobody else's, mine. The more that I study the Word of God, the more I get depressed. And this depression is not a depression where it destroys me or my spirit. This depression comes from, all that we know, we are still disunited. Weak relationships, weak family relationships. All that we have been through and all that we know. The more I study the Word of God, the more depressed I become. And that depression puts you in a state of urgency to help your people. The weight of the Word of God is heavy. It's heavy. But God gives to whom He pleases. This depression is when you learn the knowledge of who you is. You want your family, you want everybody to see it how you see it. Not to see it how I see it, but you want them to have the knowledge of who they are. Because I know how important it is to have a relationship with God that belongs to you from Him from the beginning. The more you know, the more you owe. But this depression also is a good depression. Because like I said, it puts you in a state of emergency. We have to get our families and our people to unite up under the umbrella of love. What can prevent that? I'm going to tell you what can prevent it. But first, I want to say this. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us our foundation. And our foundation is having a true understanding and knowledge of our true God and the knowledge of who we are. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan refined the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And out of that refinement, he gave us self-improvement, the basis for community development. And out of that came study guides that will guide us through our dark spiritual journey. Allahu Akbar. Allah is indeed the greatest. Them study guides was like an explosion took place in your mind of awareness of you, of me, internally. What prevents us from unity? You know, I'm a true believer now in this. It's not the enemy outside of self that can truly harm you. It's the enemy inside of ourselves that destroy us. Out of those study guides, Minister Farrakhan blessed us with 7 impediments. 7. The enemy within. I'm going to use myself as an example. If I was speaking out of terms or out of order, and a brother say, brother, the leader don't want you to speak about this particular thing right here, so don't speak about that. I say, who is you to tell me what to do? I can speak and say what I want to say. Yeah, you can say what you want to say. But in the nation of Islam, it's structured. You can't say and do what you want to do here. So that was a direct order. But I speak about what I want to speak about anyway. Now I become Iblis. Now that anger and those uncontrolled emotions starts to smother the God within. Because the God within is connected to his messenger. And who is giving the message today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So when I disobey my brother, I'm disobeying Minister Farrakhan. Did the white man tell me to do that? No, he did not. Did a brother tell me to do that? No, he did not. It was the enemy within inside of me that caused me to rebel against my brother. Because I want to speak. And I can say anything that I want to say. I'm going to say this with all due respect. It's a chain of command in the nation. You got Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. You got the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's the chain of command. You can't accept Elijah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and don't accept Minister Farrakhan. You can't accept you can't accept the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and deny and don't accept Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. It don't work like that. Allah works always in unison. He works always in uniform. He works always in unity. Period. So when your thoughts are not in unity, something happens. And I'm going to tell you what it is. When you get a direct order, or we make mistakes, it's one thing that will be tested is the enemy within us. That will be tested. How does the enemy outside itself control you? Is by understanding your triggers, understanding those impediments that you have, and then feed them. He liked to speak. He liked to do his own thing. You know, when Allah give us power, it's only one raw power that we truly have. It's only by his permission. And that's it. That's it. That's Allah. That's what Allah say. Not Kabir. I'm nobody. I'm nobody. But I am a brother. I don't know it all, but I know something. But what I do know is Allah wants us to unite. I do know that. However, when we get a direct order and we don't follow that order, our impediments within us will be highlighted and tested. And depending on which one you didn't overcome is the very one that can destroy you. That can destroy us. When I get up to work out in the morning, It's always a lurking enemy on the outside. But I'm not concerned about him. I'm concerned about my enemy on the inside. When I get up and work out in the morning, I got a part of me to say, let's get it. And it's always a part of me to say, lay in the bed not a little longer, man. You ain't got to get up. Man, work out tomorrow. When you get up to make your prayer, oh man, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, brother. You know what I'm saying? Stay in the bed. You ain't got to make no prayer. But it's something also in you that say, get up and let's get it. When you see a brother that's destroyed, he have succumbed to one of those impediments, or if not more than one, inside of him or her. When we get a direct order from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, from the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that's a direct order. And when we go against the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you develop a spiritual deformity. Allah, Akbar. The only way that we can develop properly is staying in the classroom of God. That's producing gods. I'm nothing without the Nation of Islam. I'm nobody. And I'm not putting myself down. But the fact is, where would I be without the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad? Who would I be? Still in the streets, probably back in prison, or dead. We got to be very careful how we respond to the man of God. Very careful. And even if those instructions is coming through another brother, it's still a chain of command. It's still communication. It's still the word of God. So depending on my ego, depending on my spiritual maturity, will determine whether I will really win the race of life. The race of life. I'm going to say this again. When we go against the honorable, and this is how special he is with God, when we go against the structure, the order, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you develop a spiritual deformity. Sometimes it's best not to even hear this message than to hear it and go against this message. The more I know, the more I become depressed. Who am I? Nobody. I'm an FOI, a little grain of sand that makes up the whole of the sand. But I'm only a grain of that sand. That's it. What does that spiritual deformity look like? Some of us, we can't tell them nothing. You know, I don't believe in putting a brother down, kicking him while he's on the ground, because anybody can fall and anybody can make mistakes. But even in your mistakes, it's still success, because you can't even really reach true success without making mistakes. We're going to make mistakes along the way. But as we grow, we become more acquainted with the teachings, with Allah. We become more acquainted with the value of our nation. So once we know our responsibility, we can't fumble the ball on that. And sometimes we do. And Allah, depending on your relationship with Allah, will determine on His mercy with you. But when we make mistakes, when we get to a certain level, it's no longer a mistake. It's an error. It's an error. Because we know. Unity is our only weapon. That's the only way we can truly survive Armageddon. That's the only resource that Allah give us to win. Unity. You and I. Me and you. It's the only way. I was inspired to do this video. And sometimes when you in the spirit, you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But you must speak the truth, regardless of circumstances. Because it's only truth that will free us. Truth is like medication. Sometimes it's bitter. But it's truth. And like I say, truth will definitely heal you. So, if I'm in error, tell me the truth. And I submit. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. Absolutely. But also know the teachings. So a person can't tell you other than what the messenger and what the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have said. That's what gives you knowledge and guidance. So that comes from study. Study to show yourself approved. I love these teachers. I love studying these teachers. I love it. It's like it's a process that's infinite. You always learn. You can go to student enrollment and go to lesson number 1 and extract knowledge out of there that you ain't never spoke about. We used to go through the study guides. It took us a year to go through the study guide. Then we would start over again and go through it again and see it completely different. But it was all in line with compounding our truth. You can't get nothing in this world like this. Nothing. I'm going to say this. It's a brother that I love dearly in the Nation of Islam. His name is Brother Kafid, Abdul Kafid Muhammad. This is the brother that taught me Islam in prison. This is the brother that taught me how to read in prison. I will die, literally, for this brother. I don't give a damn what you think. I love this brother to death. For life. However, my love for Brother Kafid is solid. My love for that brother is intense. It's my brother. However, I don't let the love that I have for my brother discolor my perception of Minister Farrakhan. If Brother Kafid, and I'm going to use my brother as an example, this brother's a very strong, powerful believer. Make no mistake about it. He's going to leave this earth believing in the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's a powerful believer. Once he believes something, you can't take that away from him. We both Tauruses. You can't take that away from him at all. But if he was to lead the Nation of Islam, he would never tell me to follow him, nor would I follow him. If he was to lead the Nation of Islam, I would be hurt. I would be hurt, man. But my leader is not Brother Kafid. My leader is the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and that ain't going no damn where. That ain't going nowhere. Allahu Akbar. Allah is indeed the greatest. I wouldn't divorce Minister Farrakhan for nothing in the world. I couldn't even talk when I came to the nation. I couldn't even read when I came to the nation. And even though Brother Kafid was the one that taught me how to read, how to speak, give me tests every week, it developed a genuine love. We prayed together. We fasted together. This is my brother. I never seen him waver with the teachings, man. He taught me how to organize. My locker boss was crazy when I went in. He showed me how to organize everything. And Brother Clifton Duke showed me how to organize my clothes, the nation taught me, brother. Allah used them brothers for the benefit of our nation, of educating our own. But even in all of that, that's a blessing. But if my brothers lead a nation, I'm not leaving Minister Farrakhan. When I believe something, I really believe it. I won't give a damn if my mother joined the nation and she left. I'm not following my mother. I'm not following my father. I'm following Minister Farrakhan. Because that's who Allah chose to guide us. So when we go against Minister Farrakhan, who are we really going against? Are you going against the most honorable Elijah Muhammad? Yes, you are. But who are you going against? Allah. And it's a chastisement that's associated also with disobedience to Allah's man. That's why I said earlier, it's best not to even hear this message than to hear this message and go against it. I don't follow no man. I follow God's man. And God's man is Minister Farrakhan. Make no mistake about that. I wish I would get mad at brothers in the nation, lead a nation, and I tell brothers to lead a nation with me. No, sir. I would never do that. I wouldn't even want that type of blood on my hands. And I wouldn't want to be the type of brother that would do that. Because some of us need titles and positions just to function. I don't need no damn title. But you ain't gonna take my FOI from me. You ain't doing that. You ain't taking me being a Muslim. You ain't doing that. You ain't gonna put no dirt on my name. You're not doing that. You're not gonna make me seem like I'm somebody that I'm not. You're not gonna do that because I'm not gonna do it to you. Now you ain't gonna violate me in my space. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Absolutely not. I'm never gonna take no brothers out the nation. I'm not gonna do that, man. You know what type of blood is on your hands for that? I don't want that type of blood on my hands, man. I don't want that type of blood on my hands because man, Allah is Allah, man. God is God. You know what I'm saying? You can't go against that. That's like completely going against the universe. Not just the earth, the universe. You can't do that. You can't do that. Our only weapon is unity. Our only weapon is us together, fighting together. We got diamonds amongst us, man. Diamonds that shine in all different colors. I fear Allah. I fear that. And Allah know our hearts. He know our hearts. But we have to study. Because studying, it puts you in perpetual motion of higher levels of learning and growing and maturing. Because when you become spiritually mature, it's just certain things that you will not do, and there's certain things that you're going to do because it's a need for that. It's a need for it. But without that lack of spiritual maturity, we can start focusing on me, the I. And when you start doing that, now you cracking the seal of your heart and allowing your heart to crack. And in that crack, greed come in, anger come in, uncontrolled emotions, lust. All these negative forces enter into your heart because you cracked the seal of your heart and allowed the negative forces to come in. God is the one who protects our minds and protects us when we follow him. There's no way in the world you can keep following God and get weaker. Ain't no way. When you follow God, you get stronger, stronger, and stronger. And you don't fear anything. Nothing. That's one of the traits of a believer. Allah is the best of planners. Allah is definitely the best of planners. And I'm going to always say this because it's in alignment with God. And I know I'm in alignment with God. Unity is our only weapon that will give us victory in a time of Armageddon, in a time of severe war. Some of us will die and be slaughtered. But Allah, God, is the champion that will push us, propel us to victory over our enemy. But in order to overcome that enemy, we have to overcome the enemy within. Because when you're on the battlefield, all your cylinders have to be clicked. They got to be clicking. All your cylinders got to be moving. And we don't have time for a cylinder to stop clicking or to bust a rod or a lifter with envy, jealousy, anger. Because we in a fight now. We don't have time for that. So let's study and let's ask God for forgiveness and let's keep moving forward in unity. In unity. God is our only protector. That's it. I'm going to say this before I leave. The only one can beat us, the only one that can beat you is you. Nobody else. You. How the enemy outside of us control us is triggering and feeding the enemies that he know of that's in us. I heard a brother say, the devil cannot read your thoughts. He can only hear what you say and then set up traps from what you said. That's why silence is a virtue. However, God, Allah, can read our most intimate thoughts that we have. He not only can hear it, but he can He know what you're thinking before you even thought of it. So it's limitations to Satan. It's limitations to a devil. He can only hear what you say. And when he hears it, he starts to plan against you. That's the signs of a devil. That's the signs of an insecure devil. And that devil rests and lives in us. All praises belongs to Allah. All praises belongs to Allah. What if we didn't have these teachers? Where in the hell would we be? What my street would look like? What all of this would look like? What would everything look like? What would it look like? What will it look like? When you are a Muslim, no matter what street you stay on, no matter where you go, you're supposed to impact wherever you go. If you have life, light, and energy in you. Our street is peaceful on this street. We have standards on this street. We look out for each other on this street. All praises due to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because we make friendship in all walks of life. Allahu Akbar. Allah is indeed the greatest. I thank y'all for listening. If you'd have made it this far, I thank you for listening. And I say things with the intention to help us. You know, each one of us is a light. And we got to let our little light shine to the best of our said ability. But when you let your light shine, how you let your light shine is to rise above your environment and don't do what everybody else do. No, sir. If you see a need that something need to be addressed, then you address it. No matter how it come back at you, you address it. Because if it's dealing with unity, it's dealing with love, how can you go against that? How can you go against it? If a brother is trying to bring you together, how can you go against that? It goes back to the enemy within. Pride, excessive pride. Ego, excessive ego. Anger, excessive anger. Uncontrolled emotions, yes. We got to constantly monitor ourselves every day. What did the Quran say that we can turn devil overnight? So if you can turn devil overnight, we got to be engaged with listening to Allah's man. We got to be engaged into our studies, prayer, fasting. We got to be engaged if you can be a believer today and turn devil overnight. That's some scary, man. That's scary, man. I always ask Allah, please keep my spirit. Please keep me. You can turn, all these years, you can just turn devil overnight. We want to be examples in the Nation of Islam, not warnings. You don't want to be a warning that I don't want to become that. You want to be an example, and I want to become that. Yes, sir. And that's all. All we have to do is monitor our impediments and overcome them. But always keep them monitored. Because it's one thing about our impediments inside itself, they always try to submerge. They always try to surface. Not submerge. They always try to surface. You want to do something, what creeps in? Procrastination. How you kill procrastination? Do it. Whatever you're supposed to do, get up and do it. Don't even think about it, do it. It'll kill procrastination. Stay in your place, procrastination. Let's come together with love and unity. We already got the teachings. That's our blessing. Now leave with this. Poverty has no color, nor does success. Your brother, Kabir, legend, Muhammad. Peace.